everyone, and welcome to another episode of Truth Be Told's Minuteman Report. This is Robert Hensley, your Truth Be Told Minuteman, coming to you live from an undisclosed location somewhere in North America, otherwise known as the bunker. So, we've talked about this before. Sometimes I get going on some research and I end up down a rabbit hole and I find all kinds of interesting things that I want to share and things that I want to talk about. And today, I'm gonna blame Bonnie and Tony for this, partially. Last week Wednesday and last week on Friday, I guess it was Sunday, yesterday. So Wednesday, Bonnie had a guest talking about Bigfoot and kind of Bigfoot's kind of spiritual, magical, potentially extraterrestrial connections. And then Tony, of course, yesterday talked to Dr. Simeon Hine about very much a very similar topic. And, in helping them research shows, especially working with Tony to help research his show and reading materials and finding guests and things like that, you learn about a lot of different theories and a lot of different concepts. And so we know that there are different kinds of fields of study, or not necessarily fields of study, but I guess different takes on UFOs, on unidentified aerial phenomena, and but one of the things that we have that people have talked about in the past is that there's this correlation between where we see UFO sightings often are near mining operations or large-scale construction places where natural resources are being kind of stripped from the earth tend to draw UFOs. Then also we've started talking about kind of the environmental impact of those types of projects, and is that why more people are seeing Bigfoot or a Sasquatch being driven out of these areas and into more densely populated areas? Is that why we're seeing Bigfoot? Well, again, rabbit holing here. A friend of mine turned me on to a CD yesterday called Hard Coal, Sweet Songs for a Lost World. The music was performed and written by a guy named Ralph Peters, and if the name sounds familiar, it's because he is a retired lieutenant colonel from the U.S. Army, an award-winning author, and he was a Fox News pundit. And he left the network in 2018, blaming Fox for basically saying that they've harming our government for profit and becoming a Trump propaganda machine. And then he likened Trump's behavior to sedition and took off. But since then, he has recorded this music that was inspired by his life growing up in the coal fields of central Pennsylvania, like the Schuylkill Valley. And then I started remembering that, I was thinking about mining, and there's a lot of mining for years and years and years, and there's all this history with like the Molly Malones and kind of the government and unions and people trying to control these mines and these mining operations, and that took me to NUFORC.org, right? NUFORC.org, the National UFO Recording Center, and I went to their international index on a lark, and I happened to look at Pennsylvania. Now, there are quite a few UFO reports from central Pennsylvania over the last year. I only looked at the last year, and then I somehow Googled and found the Pennsylvania Bigfoot Encounters map from Google My Maps, and I looked at since 1995, right? The majority of the Bigfoot or Sasquatch sightings in Pennsylvania, and there are actually more than I had anticipated. because I know that most of those usually kind of happen in the Pacific Northwest. But, anyway, there are a lot of sightings of Bigfoot. Again, they're centered in the same place where we see the UFOs in Pennsylvania. So we're talking about those counties where anthracite or hard coal used to be mined. That's Schuylkill County, Northumberland, Luzerne. So same places where we see a lot of UFO activity. We're also seeing a lot of Bigfoot activity. And then I was also kind of surprised because there seemed to be a lot of Bigfoot activity in southwestern Pennsylvania, kind of closer to kind of the Pennsylvania-West Virginia border. And I couldn't quite figure out what was going on there, and so I did a little more research, and it turns out that according to the USGS, the United States Geological Survey, the largest, most modern, and most productive underground mines for bituminous coal are in southwestern Pennsylvania. That's where they have something called the main bituminous coal field. Anthracite is the hard coal, which is kind of what got dug out and pretty much destroyed the land in central Pennsylvania. But bituminous coal is not the highest ranked coal. It's kind of the mid-grade coal. I keep saying gold, but it's not gold. It's coal. Coal. C-O-A-L. Coal. So there are all of these mines, I guess, underground mines in southwestern Pennsylvania, and around these areas where that mining occurred and is occurring, there is, again, a lot of UFO and Bigfoot sightings. Who knew? So this whole idea, people are talking about, is Bigfoot from another planet? Is the reason that we can't find Bigfoot, does it have something to do with availability of technology that allows him to kind of cloak himself, or is it a biological thing that he's able to hide himself or camouflage himself? There have been stories of Bigfoot kind of disappearing in a puff of smoke or a flash of light. So people think that, it's very much, I'm not a huge Star Trek watcher, but whatever that thing is that they use on Star Trek that takes you from one place to the other, transporter beam or whatever it might be. So, so again, Rabbit Hole came up with this thought, this actually kind of coincides with what Bonnie and Tony were talking with their guests about last week. And, I think it's worth it. I think it's worth a little more digging. I think that people who are interested in learning more about, UFO sightings and Bigfoot sightings and can find that correlation. If they find the correlation on their own, great. If I can help lead them to that, that's even better. If somebody finds some more information, if you start looking further back into history and you find out a little bit more about the coal fields of Pennsylvania and Bigfoot and UFOs, or even other areas of the country where it's a very similar kind of correlation, email me, let me know. reportminuteman@gmail.com is the email address. Again, that's reportminuteman@gmail.com. And if you have any other ideas, any other thoughts on a show topic or something that you really want us to look into, let us know. We're happy to kind of put it into the hat and see what comes out. And don't forget, there are 3 chances every week for new Truth Be Told content. Of course, the Minuteman Report every Monday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 Eastern. Bonnie, same time on Wednesdays with Truth Be Told Transformation, which is the more spiritual and metaphysical kind of take on things. And of course, Bonnie. Tony has the original Truth Be Told every Friday afternoon, again, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 Eastern. And we have new content coming in the new year with a Spanish language version of Truth Be Told being hosted by the Latinx music artist Metaphor. And until next week, I hope you will stay safe and have a happy holiday season, or the start of a holiday season, whatever you might be celebrating, and stay true. Until next time, everyone, have a good afternoon.